Welcome back. Today we're diving deep into the world of Napoleon Hill.
Oh, Napoleon Hill. Now that's a name synonymous with success.
He really is. And you know what's really fascinating about him?
What's that?
We're going to be focusing on this idea of turning setbacks into opportunities.
Oh, I like that. Turning those stumbling blocks into stepping stones.
Exactly. And the best part is we have access to a treasure trove of Hill's own words.
Really? That's fantastic. It's like we're getting a first-hand account of his journey.
You know, when you think about it, it's actually kind of incredible that he's so well known for success.
Oh, how so?
Because, well, he actually experienced a ton of setbacks himself before achieving anything.
That makes his insights even more valuable, doesn't it? He wasn't just some guy who had it easy. He really lived through those struggles.
It's not just theory from some ivory tower.
Right. Exactly. It's hard-won wisdom, forged in the fires of experience.
Okay, so to really understand his perspective, we're going to be focusing on 7 major turning points in his life.
7 turning points. These are like moments where things could have gone either way.
Exactly. And each one reveals a powerful principle for turning adversity into, well, advantage.
I'm ready. Let's dive in.
All right, so turning point number 1. Hill's fresh out of business college. He lands this incredible job, starts making good money.
He must have felt on top of the world.
Yeah. He describes it as almost feeling invincible. He had that, that youthful confidence.
Full of optimism, thinking he's got it all figured out.
Until the panic of 1907 hits.
Oh, no. The panic of 1907, that was a major economic downturn.
A
Right?
huge one. And just like that, everything changes. He loses his job, loses his savings, pretty much everything he worked for.
What a blow. It would have been so easy to just crumble and give up.
It really would have. But Hill does something different. He actually uses this financial blow as a catalyst for growth.
Instead of seeing it as a dead end, he saw it as a chance to maybe reevaluate his path.
Exactly. He looks at what he's learned, the skills he's developed, and starts thinking about new possibilities.
That's powerful. Taking what could have been a devastating loss and turning it into an opportunity for reflection and growth.
I know. Have you ever experienced anything similar? Maybe a job loss, a relationship ending, anything that forced you to reassess your priorities?
It's amazing how sometimes those detours can lead us to something even better, isn't it?
Yeah. They kind of shake us out of our comfort zones.
They force us to re-examine our values, our goals.
Sometimes those unplanned detours put us on the right track.
Absolutely. Sometimes you need that shake-up to really find your way.
Okay, so after this crash course in embracing the unexpected, Hill dives headfirst into a new venture.
Let me guess, he starts his own business.
Not quite. He lands a job in the lumber industry, a field he knew absolutely nothing about.
Wow, that's a big leap. Talk about stepping outside of your comfort zone.
He relied on his strong work ethic, the sales talent he had, but he also demonstrated a key principle.
Oh, and what's that?
Doing more than you're paid for. It wasn't about impressing the boss. It was about developing a habit of excellence.
It's about taking initiative, going above and beyond what's expected.
He exceeded expectations left and right. For example, he convinced the miners to work harder, which resulted in profit-sharing bonuses for everyone.
Now that's smart leadership. He found a way to benefit both the company and the workers.
It's that mindset of looking for opportunities to contribute more, to find those creative solutions.
A mindset that can set you apart in any field. It's about taking ownership, demonstrating your value.
It's about going that extra mile.
I like that.
But there's a twist. Just as he's finding success in lumber, the panic of 1907 strikes again.
Oh no, not again. The poor guy can't catch a break.
This time, it completely decimates his business, sends him back to square one, financially speaking.
You'd think after experiencing that same economic hardship twice, he'd be completely discouraged.
Right.
But there's something different this time. It wasn't just about the financial loss.
Yeah. What was it?
This time, it caused him to reevaluate what success really means.
It's like he started questioning those traditional markers of success, money, power, authority.
There's more to life than just climbing the corporate ladder.
Right. And that introspection led him to his third turning point, law school.
Law school. Really, that's a pretty big shift from lumber.
It is. It's a path he wouldn't have considered if he hadn't gone through those setbacks.
So in a way, those hardships actually opened up a whole new world for him.
They really did. It's incredible to think about. He's facing financial hardship, and instead of playing it safe, he chooses to enroll in law school.
It's like he's doubling down on his future, on his own development.
Exactly. And get this. To make ends meet, He juggles law school at night with a daytime job as an automobile salesman.
He's using that sales experience he gained in the lumber business. He's resourceful.
He was. And you know what's even more impressive? He thrives. He even gets involved in automobile manufacturing.
Wait a minute. He's in law school selling cars, and now he's involved in manufacturing. This guy never stops.
I know. It's like he's constantly seeking new knowledge, pushing himself.
Always looking for new challenges. What an amazing spirit.
He saw a need for trained mechanics in this growing industry.
So what did he do?
True to his entrepreneurial spirit, he sets up a school to train them.
He's not just thinking about himself, he's thinking about empowering others too.
He was. But remember that tendency for overconfidence we talked about earlier?
Oh no, don't tell me.
Well, it comes back into play. He borrows heavily, expands the school too quickly, and ultimately, he loses control of the business.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. It seems like every time he builds something up, something comes along to test his resilience.
I know. It's like a constant cycle of success and setbacks.
But here's the thing. It's not that he never fails. It's that he never lets those setbacks define him.
You're right. He picks himself up, analyzes what went wrong, and extracts those valuable lessons.
That's what sets him apart, doesn't it? He doesn't dwell on the failures. He learns from them.
He really does. So after the school, how does he handle this latest setback?
Well, this time, we see his resilience shine even brighter. He avoids despair and chooses to learn.
He's a master of turning lemons into lemonade, that's for sure. So how does he bounce back this time?
He recognizes the danger of impulsive decisions. He vows to approach future ventures with more caution, more strategic planning.
It's honestly refreshing how open he is about his mistakes, you know?
So many successful people try to hide their failures, but he owns them.
It makes him more relatable, don't you think? Reminds us that it's okay to make mistakes.
As long as we learn and grow from them, right?
Absolutely. So after losing the school, Hill needs a fresh start, yet again.
Where does he go from there?
Well, luckily, his wife's family steps in to help, and they secure him this comfortable position at a major coal company.
A coal company? What does he do there?
He becomes the assistant to the chief counsel. Sounds pretty good, right?
Especially after everything he's been through. A stable job, good income. You'd think he'd be content.
You'd think so, right?
But knowing his story, there's got to be more to it.
And there is. Because he ends up resigning.
He resigns from a comfortable, stable job. Why?
He recognized that the work, while stable, it just wasn't challenging him.
He didn't want to get complacent.
He understood that true fulfillment comes from pushing yourself beyond those comfort zones.
So true. Sometimes that comfortable situation can actually hold us back. It's a subtle form of stagnation.
And Hill, despite all the setbacks, he seems to have this drive to keep moving forward, keep evolving.
It's inspiring. So where does this new understanding take him? What's next on his adventure?
Well, he sets his sights on Chicago.
Chicago. Why Chicago?
It was a bustling hub of opportunity, especially during the Roaring '20s. He was ready for a new challenge, a new adventure.
Chicago in the Roaring '20s. Talk about an exciting time and place to be.
I know, right?
He jumps right into the world of advertising. Becomes the advertising manager for a correspondence school.
A correspondence school? What's that? Some kind of fancy private school?
Think of it as like the early 1900s version of online courses. Brand new field.
I get it. So how did he do? Was he any good at it?
He excelled. Hill was adaptable, always willing to learn.
He really was a chameleon, wasn't he? Blending into all these different environments and always up for new challenges.
You got it. He never limited himself to just one industry or one role.
What can we learn from that?
It's about being a lifelong learner, open to new opportunities, stepping outside your comfort zone.
You have to stay curious, right?
Right. Agile, adaptable, don't get stuck in one way of thinking.
Embrace change as an opportunity for growth.
Exactly.
Okay, so Hill's doing well in advertising, living the good life in Chicago. Everything's going smoothly. But knowing Hill's story, I have a feeling another twist is coming. Am I right?
Oh, there's always another twist with Hill.
So what is it this time? What happens?
He gets lured into the candy manufacturing business.
Candy! That seems like such a random jump.
Right. From advertising and law to candy.
But I bet he was convinced this was it, right? This is where he was going to find stability.
You know Hill. Of course he thought that. They launched this company called the Betsy Ross Candy Company.
Betsy Ross Candy Company. Catchy.
It does have a nice ring to it.
But I'm guessing there's a catch.
Isn't there always? This time, it wasn't an economic downturn or anything.
What was it then?
Betrayal.
Oh, no.
You're kidding.
Betrayal.
His business partners, greedy, wanted to cheat him out of his share of the company.
How awful. What did they do?
They actually had him arrested on false charges.
Seriously?
They were hoping he'd just hand over his part of the business to avoid going to trial.
So they were trying to manipulate the legal system to just steal from him.
Exactly. They wanted it all.
Wow. That's a reminder that success isn't just about hard work and good strategy. It's also about
Surrounding yourself with the right people.
people you can trust, people with integrity.
Couldn't agree more. So what did Joe Hill do?
Give in? I don't think so.
You got that right. He fought back.
He did. How?
He demanded a hearing, forced his partners to testify under oath, and guess what?
He cleared his name.
He cleared his name. It's a classic David versus Goliath story.
That's amazing.
He ends up winning a substantial judgment against those former partners, enough to put them behind bars if he wanted to.
Wow. So he could have sought revenge.
He could have.
But
He chose to forgive his enemies.
he forgave them, really, after all that.
He did. He recognized that holding on to anger and resentment, well, that would only hurt him in the long run.
I mean, most people would be out for blood after that kind of betrayal.
It shows a lot of strength and maturity, honestly.
Forgiveness. That's a tough one.
It is. But it's also incredibly powerful.
So, after this candy business nightmare, where does Hill go from there?
He turns to something that had always intrigued him:
What's that?
teaching. He joins a Midwestern college and starts teaching courses in advertising and salesmanship.
Teaching. That's a full circle moment, isn't it? He goes from aspiring businessman to disillusioned entrepreneur, and now to a teacher.
Sharing his wisdom, shaping young minds.
Yeah.
And through teaching, he discovers something really interesting.
What's that?
He realizes you never really learn something until you try to teach it to others.
You have to really understand it, break it down, organize it in a way that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So Hill's found his groove as a professor, inspiring students, sharing his hard-won knowledge.
Dog.
Oh no, not another but.
You know Hill's story. Just when things seem to be settling down.
Another challenge pops up.
Bingo.
What is it this time? Another bad business deal?
World War I.
World War I.
The second military draft is implemented. A lot of his students get drafted.
And that impacts his income.
Yep. It's a reminder that even when things are going well, life can throw curveballs.
Challenges we can't control.
But what's remarkable about Hill, he never lets those challenges break him.
Okay, so this brings us to his 7th turning point.
Perhaps his most pivotal one.
This one has to be big.
Armistice Day.
Armistice Day.
November 11th, 1918. The war is finally over. People are celebrating in the streets.
I can imagine the emotions. Relief, gratitude.
Hill's watching it all from his office window, reflecting on his own journey, the ups and downs, the setbacks. He gets an idea. He's going to launch a national magazine.
A magazine.
He's going to call it Hill's Golden Rule.
Okay, I'm guessing this isn't going to be like a gossip magazine.
Not exactly.
Uh,
It becomes his platform to share all the principles of success he's been developing over the years.
Through all those turning points.
Exactly.
He's taking those moments of what most people would call failure.
And turning them into lessons, into wisdom to share with others.
But I'm guessing he didn't have the money to launch a magazine, did he?
Nope. He was broke.
So how did he pull it off?
He writes this incredible essay outlining his vision for the magazine, his Golden Rule philosophy.
And people loved it.
They did. It resonated with so many people.
Yeah.
And that's how he secured the funding he needed.
Wow. He's such a powerful communicator.
He is.
So the magazine takes off. He's found his niche, sharing his wisdom and the stories of other successful individuals. Come on, not another but. We're never going to get to those 13 principles.
Don't worry, we'll get there.
Yeah.
But Hill's Golden Rule becomes much more than just his own ideas.
What do you mean?
He starts showcasing the wisdom of other successful people too, interviewing leaders from all walks of life, sharing their stories, their insights.
He's curating a collection of success stories.
Exactly.
I bet he discovered all kinds of interesting things through that process.
Oh, he did. He starts to notice patterns.
Patterns?
He realizes that all these successful people, despite their different backgrounds and achievements,
They share certain fundamental qualities.
you got it. It wasn't about luck. It wasn't about circumstance. It was about
Mindset, habits.
you're on the right track. He started to uncover what he called a universal formula for success.
A formula for success.
Principles that could be applied to any area of life. And that's what led him to his most ambitious project yet.
Okay, this is it. Right, the big one.
He decides to do this massive study of success, A deep dive into everything he's learned, from his own experiences and from interviewing all these successful people.
I think I know where this is going.
It becomes his magnum opus, Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich, the book that made him a legend.
And it all started with his unwavering commitment to turning those setbacks into stepping stones.
And sharing that knowledge with the world.
Exactly. So, are you ready to dive into Think and Grow Rich?
I am. Let's do it. Okay, so we're back and ready to unpack those 13 principles from Think and Grow Rich. It's a pretty big list.
It is, but I think we'll find many of them connect back to those turning points in Hill's own life.
Right, they're not just some abstract ideas. They're based on his experiences and his observations of others.
So they're like road-tested, battle-tested strategies.
I like that. Road tested for success. So where do we even begin with this list?
Well, the first principle, and this is really the foundation for everything else, it's desire. Hill believed that a burning desire, a real longing for something, that's the starting point.
So it's not enough to just kind of want something.
Right. It has to be more than that. It has to consume you.
You have to really crave it.
Exactly. Hill said, a weak desire brings weak results, just as a small fire makes a small amount of heat.
It's like desire is the fuel, right? The engine that drives you forward.
You got it. But how do you cultivate that kind of intense desire? Is it something you're born with?
Or can you develop it? That's a good question.
Hill believed you could cultivate it. He actually outlined a 6-step process for turning desire into results.
A 6-step process. Okay, I'm intrigued. What's the first step?
First, you got to define your goal. Clearly, no ambiguity.
So you need a crystal clear vision of what you want. Makes sense. What's next?
You got to figure out what you're willing to give up to get it.
The sacrifices.
Success rarely comes without sacrifice. Effort, dedication, stepping outside your comfort zone.
It's about understanding the investment required, right? To make that vision a reality. Okay, what's the third step?
Set a deadline.
Oh, deadlines. Always motivating.
Right. It introduces a sense of urgency, keeps you focused.
Keeps you from procrastinating. Okay, so we've got the goal, the sacrifices, the deadline. What's next?
Got to make a plan.
The roadmap.
Right. Break down that big goal into smaller steps. Figure out what resources you need, what actions you need to take.
It's all about the strategy.
And then write it all down.
Write it down.
Everything. The desire, the plan, your commitment. Write it all down.
So you're making it real, putting it out into the universe.
Exactly. Making it tangible.
Okay, what's the last step?
Read your statement out loud. Twice a day. Morning and night.
Wow, that's commitment. With
And
emotion, right?
full conviction. Hill was a big believer in autosuggestion.
Autosuggestion.
Feeding your mind those positive thoughts and beliefs. He thought it could shape your subconscious.
So you're basically programming your mind for success.
Right. So that's desire, the first principle.
Wow, that's pretty powerful stuff. Okay, what's the second principle on Hill's list?
Faith.
Faith. Like religious faith.
Not necessarily. More like
Okay.
unwavering belief in your ability to achieve your goal.
So believing in yourself even when things get tough.
Exactly. Hill called faith the eternal elixir, which gives life, power, and action to the impulse of thought.
So without faith, even the best plan can fail.
Right. If you don't believe it's possible, why even bother trying?
Good point. Okay, so that brings us to the third principle.
Autosuggestion.
Wait, we already talked about autosuggestion, didn't we?
We touched on it, but this principle really goes deep into the power of the mind. It's about using affirmations and visualizations to override those negative thoughts we all have.
So it's about actively shaping your mindset.
Exactly. Replace those doubts with empowering beliefs.
Okay, I'm starting to see how these principles all connect.
They do, don't they? All right, fourth principle.
Hit me with it.
Specialized knowledge.
So it's not just about positive thinking. You need the skills and information to back it up.
Hill was all about lifelong learning. He emphasized that knowledge is only potential power. You have to apply it.
Right, it's like having all the tools but not knowing how to use them. Okay, so we've got desire, faith, autosuggestion, specialized knowledge.
Fifth principle is imagination.
Imagination. That sounds fun.
Hill saw imagination as the workshop of the mind, where ideas are born.
Thinking outside the box.
He talked about two kinds of imagination.
Oh, what are they?
Synthetic imagination, where you combine existing ideas into something new.
Like remixing.
Yeah, kind of. And then there's creative imagination, where you draw inspiration from, well, what he called the infinite intelligence.
Okay, now we're getting into some interesting territory. What's the infinite intelligence?
He'll believe that we all have access to this higher power, this source of wisdom and creativity that exists in the universe.
So it's like tapping into a universal consciousness.
He believed we could access it through meditation, prayer, just by quieting the mind.
So it's about being open to inspiration, to those flashes of insight.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got desire, faith, autosuggestion, specialized knowledge, imagination. What's the sixth principle?
Organized planning.
Ah, so you need a roadmap to make those dreams a reality.
No plan, no success. He was big on breaking down goals into smaller steps, surrounding yourself with a good team.
So you're not going it alone.
Right. He said organized effort is produced through the coordination of effort of two or more people who work toward a definite end in a spirit of harmony.
Collaboration is key.
Absolutely. Okay, so far we've got desire, faith, autosuggestion, specialized knowledge, imagination, and organized planning. Are you keeping up?
I am. This is fascinating stuff. Okay, what's number 7?
Decision.
Decision. Seems straightforward enough. What's Hill's take on it?
He was all about making clear, firm decisions. No procrastination, no doubt.
Just make a choice and go for it.
Those who reach decisions promptly and definitely know what they want and generally get it. That's Hill.
Sounds like a leader, right? Someone who takes charge. Okay, on to the 8th principle.
Perseverance.
Persistence. Grit. We all need that.
Hill believed it was absolutely essential. There is no substitute for persistence, he said. It cannot be supplanted by any other quality.
It's about not giving up when things get tough, learning from those setbacks.
Exactly. It's a state of mind you can cultivate.
So that's 8 down. We've got desire, faith, autosuggestion, specialized knowledge, imagination, organized planning, decision, and perseverance. What's number 9?
The power of the mastermind. We've talked about this before, remember?
Oh, yeah. Hill's famous mastermind principle. Surrounding yourself with a group of amazing people.
People who inspire you, support you. It's about amplifying your abilities through collaboration.
The idea that we can achieve more together than we can alone.
Exactly. Okay. Moving right along. Principle number 10.
Lay it on me.
The mystery of sex transmutation.
Whoa, okay. This one sounds a little,
I know, it's a bit controversial, especially in today's world. But if you look beyond the literal interpretation, it's about channeling energy into productive pursuits.
So taking all that drive, that passion, and focusing it towards something positive.
Right. Whether it's creative work, building a business, anything that aligns with your values.
Okay, I can get behind that. What's next?
The subconscious mind. Number 11.
The subconscious mind. That's powerful stuff.
Hill believed it's incredibly powerful and that we can actually influence it to help us achieve our goals.
So how do you do that?
By feeding it positive thoughts, beliefs, visualizations. He said the subconscious doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's imagined.
So if you keep visualizing success, your subconscious mind will start to believe it's possible.
And then it'll start working to make it happen. Hill thought this principle could help you overcome fears, develop new habits, even achieve those breakthroughs you've been dreaming of.
It's like we're programming our minds for success without even realizing it.
That's the power of the subconscious.
2 more principles to go. What's next?
The brain. Number 12.
The brain. That's a big one.
Hill saw the brain as this broadcasting station for thoughts. He believed our thoughts could actually influence others.
Now that's getting into some pretty out there territory.
It is. But even if you don't buy into the idea of thought vibrations, the underlying message is about our interconnectedness.
Right. Our thoughts and actions have a ripple effect.
It encourages us to be mindful of what we're putting out into the world. Focus on those positive, constructive thoughts.
Okay, that makes sense. Last principle, number 13, what is it?
The sixth sense. This one builds on the previous principle. It's about intuition, that gut feeling.
Inner knowing.
Hill believed it's a faculty that goes beyond our 5 physical senses, a connection to the infinite intelligence.
So it's about learning to trust those intuitive nudges.
He believed we all have this sixth sense, but it takes practice to develop it.
Being still, listening to that inner voice.
You got it.
Yeah.
So there you have it. 13 principles for success, from desire to the sixth sense.
It's an amazing framework.
Think and Grow Rich is a book that keeps on giving.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Napoleon Hill's world, what's the big takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
I think Hill's entire journey, his ups and downs, it's a testament to the power we all have to shape our own lives.
We're not just victims of circumstance.
Exactly. And his 13 principles, They're not just about achieving external success. They're about living a fulfilling and meaningful life.
A life of purpose.
It all starts with that burning desire, believing in yourself, persevering, and never giving up on your dreams.
That's a great message to end on.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Napoleon Hill.
And until next time, keep thinking, keep growing, and keep believing in the power of your own potential.